Namaskar music admirers, I am Pradipta, a Hindustani classical vocal music practitioner, and this is my channel Pradipta's Raga Music. Today I am presenting a readout from the book Master on Masters, authored by the great Sarod Maestro, Ustad Amjad Khan, who is one of the undisputed masters of the music world. I am reading out a very heartwarming tribute authored by Ustad Amjad Khan to the great, outstanding, legendary woman vocalist, the unparalleled dawn of Jaipur-Atrauli gharana of Hindustani classical music, the great Surashree Kesarbai Kerkar. Historically, in India, it has not been easy for women to perform on stage. For a long time, it was not even considered respectable for them to do so. But committed and dedicated musicians like Kesarbai Kerkar, Mogubai Kurdikar, Roshanara Begum, Gangubai Hangal, Hirabai Barodekar, Begum Akhtar, Girija Devi and Kishori Amankar created and paved the way for female classical singers. Fortunately, among the new generation of musicians in the country, there are many talented women singers, especially from Bengal and Maharashtra. There are some men and women who possess extraordinary potential, a chosen few whose exploits in different aspects of human civilization leave an indelible impression and create milestones in the course of history. Surashree Kesarbai Kerkar is one such outstanding figure in the annals of Indian classical music. One of the most remarkable and glamorous vocalists from the Jaipur-Atrauli gharana, Kesarbai was born on 13th July 1892 in the village of Keri, also known as Querim, to a family from Ponda Taluka of North Goa. At the age of 8, Kesarbai moved to Kolhapur, where she received her initial lessons in Khayal from the legendary musician Ustad Abdul Karim Khan for a short period. After she returned to Goa, she continued learning under the guidance of Pandit Ramkrishna Bua Vajje during his visits to Lamgaon. Kesarbai Kerkar was my father's contemporary. During this period, considerable changes were taking place in the economic, political and cultural scenario of British India. The princely states were struggling for survival, which resulted in the decline of royal patronage to art and music. On the other hand, cities like Bombay and Calcutta were thriving as seats of business and trade under the British Raj. Several musicians and artists began migrating to these cities in search of patrons. Kesarbai too came to Bombay with her mother and uncle at the age of 16. Seth Vittal Das Dwarka Das, a wealthy businessman, helped her learn under Ustad Barkat Ullah Khan Sahab, the sitar player who was the court musician of Patiala and then Mysore. She also trained under Pandit Bhaskar Bua Pokhale, the prodigious and legendary vocalist of the Agra Gharana, for a short time before she became a disciple of Ustad Aladia Khan Sahab of Jaipur, who created such an unusual and beautiful style of singing that it came to be known as the Jaipur Gharana. Historically, a gharana of various kinds of singing styles usually came into being because of one legendary musician. Even today, there are many young, talented singers and representatives of the Jaipur-Atrauli gharana, especially in Maharashtra. Some gurus did not allow their disciples to listen to other great masters, but talented disciples of any guru keep their minds, ears and eyes open to absorb and grasp any good compositions or musical expressions of other great masters. Thanks to AIR, which featured great masters for free, many struggling musicians got a fair chance to understand the quality of classical music, especially those musicians who could not afford or find a guru. Kesarbai received rigorous training from Ustad Aladia Khan. It is pertinent to note here that Mogubai Kurdikar, Tanbai and Lakshmibai were her prominent guru sisters. The Guru-Shishya synergy between them was the perfect combination of talim and riyaz. Her guru made immense effort to realize the artist in her, and she did more than her part to justify his belief in her. She achieved remarkable mastery over damsas, disproving the popular notion that women had comparatively lower lung capacity than men. In fact, she could complete one cycle of Vilambit Tintal in a single breath. Her rigorous riyaz enabled her to pick the mukhra of each bandish every time from exactly the same beat. Kesarbai was also blessed with a rare voice that could flow smoothly and effortlessly through the 3 octaves without compromising on its tonal quality. She attained perfection in her musical articulation through her flawless representation of vowels and consonants. Her akar would be maintained perfectly in all the octaves. Kesarbai Kerkar was a consummate artist in vocal music, and her renditions were meticulously structured. Every stage of Khayal Gaiki, from Alap and Barhat right up to Taan, were justified and intrinsically linked with the entire pattern, making each rendition a complete work of art. Her renditions exemplified the cascade-like Taan patterns, a speciality of the Jaipur gharana. But above all, if one could use only 2 words to describe her Gaiki, they would have to be command and confidence. Her complete command of the subject was a major contributing factor in making her a self-reliant artist and gave her the confidence to choose an authoritative style of rendition. To establish her individuality as an artist, Kesarbai made a conscious decision to perform thumri or any form of music other than khayal only occasionally. In 1953, Kesarbai was one of the many great musicians, including Abba Sahab, who received the Sangeet Natak Akademi Award and Fellowship. This was followed by the Padma Bhushan in 1969, and in the same year, the government of Maharashtra conferred upon her the title Rajya Gaika. The great Indian poet and Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore is said to have been very fond of Kerkar's singing. Her honorific title Surashree or Surashree, literally the Queen of Melody, was bestowed on her in 1948 by the Sangeet Praveen Sangeetanuragi Sajjan Samman Samiti of Calcutta. I had the honor of touching her feet and offering her my love and reverence at the legendary All India Music Conference in Calcutta in 1959, where my guru was performing. Kesarbai was in the audience. Kesarbai had an imposing, dignified and serene personality. She and my father were among the heroes of the decades between 1930 and 1960. I wish I had had an iPhone at that time to record their conversations and take photographs. After the concert at Calcutta, she had walked up to the stage and kissed Abba Sahab's hands and told him that she was mesmerized by his approach and the poetic beauty of his Sarod. They both admired each other's music and were old friends. Back in the day, classical musicians were not in a position to refuse any concerts. But Kesarbai was very particular about her appearances. She was patronized by traditional Parsi, Gujarati and Bengali families at private mehfils, as well as the royal families of Kashmir, Baroda, Kolhapur, Jaipur and Jodhpur. During her performing years, having Kesarbai perform was a must at every music festival in India. My father often heard her say that her music or singing style was not so easy that people could copy or imitate her. Those who wished to emulate her would have to work hard and learn properly under her guidance. She was a born performer. Kesarbai's influence on the world of Indian music has endured. In her ancestral village of Keri, the Surashree Kesarbai Kerkar High School has been built on the site of Kerkar's former second home. A music festival called the Surashree Kesarbai Kerkar Smriti Sangeet Samaroh is organized in Goa every November by the Kala Academy, and a music scholarship is awarded annually to a University of Mumbai student by the National Centre for the Performing Arts via the Kesarbai Kerkar Scholarship Fund. There is an old saying, "Ek साधे सब साधे, सब साधे सब जाए." Literally, jack of all trades and master of none. Musicians who tried to learn 100 or 200 or more ragas perhaps could not do sincere sadhana or riyaz on any one evergreen raga like Yaman or Bhairavi. Most of the old masters, however, chose few ragas to perform through their lifetime, and certain ragas became associated with certain musicians. Having heard all her recordings, I have come to believe that her approach to certain ragas and her rendering of every phrase of the composition was meaningful. The quality of her voice was her forte. It was powerful, appealing and colorful. I have been immensely inspired by the music of the legendary Kesarbai Kerkar. We are fortunate that HMV has some beautiful ragas recorded by Kesarbai. In recent times, many music lovers have posted rare recordings by this great artist on YouTube, which were perhaps privately circulated earlier. Kesarbai has the further distinction of having one of her recordings in Bhairavi included on the Voyager Golden Record, a disc containing the finest musical selections from around the world sent to spacecrafts Voyager 1 and 2 in 1977. The recording was recommended for inclusion ethnomusicologist Robert E. Brown, who believed it to be the finest recorded example of Indian classical music. Kesarbai truly spread the message of Indian classical music to a cosmic level.